Hello, welcome. Today we are looking at everything that happened in 2025. Of course, we know every set that happened, but do we remember every little thing that happened throughout the year? We had some cool bans, we had some cool new things for Commander, we had actually a bunch of new things for Commanders, and we had many secret lairs. But we will be going through it very quickly, starting with not one of these 6 sets. No, wait. Everyone was angry all the time at 2026, where there were 7 sets, but that was the case for 2025 too. We had Innistrad Remastered in January already, which makes for 7 sets this year. So no, we don't even know which sets have released, because otherwise we would have been very angry at 2025 too. But you don't need to be angry. This was just a set, Innistrad Remastered, that was rebranding Innistrad again. We are doing this a lot apparently, maybe in black and white, and now we have it on a cereal box style art or something. Might be cool, but personally I would turn these into secret lairs instead of whole sets. But okay, let's see what else we have. We have a bunch of secret lairs, starting with February 3rd. So yes, we are starting off very quickly with many secret lairs, and we will not be going in depth into these. But I have to say, NMR and Friends, this secret lair does look very cool. I love the art here, because it is just so flowy and nature-like. Then we get Jesper Icing, and personally I really like the artist preview secret lairs, because it really celebrates a part of Magic the Gathering that I think is important, which is the artists. And especially if they get to choose which cards they will get to make, I think that really adds to the flavor of the artists as well. So if they really want to do a Breaches, Eager, Pillager art, then let them do it. And I love that he is in a little boat. So many things to love here. We then got Lorwyn light boxes, which really did help, because we got some lands that are, of course, at least a little bit famous. And also they really showed us a bunch about what Lorwyn is about, getting us to be hyped for the upcoming set, which is now really close and the story is already starting. So we have to continue on. Then we got Dress to Kill, which also was really cool art. So I think many of the secret lairs, many people are against secret lairs. But I personally like them as long as they are just about the art, or they are celebrating something that is important to Magic the Gathering. I personally still can like those lairs. But things like this, Arcade Racers, which is all about vehicles in a Hot Wheels style, feels, for example, a little bit weird to me. Especially since there's a front side that doesn't really show us what the card is about. This is something that I find hard myself, because yeah, I know probably what Smuggler's Sculptor does, but if someone is playing the front part of a card that doesn't even say what it does, well, I get a little bit confused. And the backside also doesn't really tell us very clearly what it does. Or at least I don't think people will like that version of the card, as it has 6 arts on it, which is a bit weird. But okay, not getting too deep into these, we had Hatsune Miku a lot over the years. I think just once this year, which is, I think, enough. Another artist spotlight. I really like this one because it is a little bit more serious, of course, than Jesper Icing, which is really not serious at all, and really shows us many characters in new light like Pulse or Shorakai, and that really adds to the characters of legendary creatures or artifacts too. Then we have some actual news, which was that there were some new brackets that people got to use, and I think they started off pretty okay. To me, well, while it doesn't really help everyone tell everything about their decks, it does help a little bit in allowing stores to have better tournaments where they can at least say someone is a 2, 3 or 4. So they should be in those tournaments. Of course, we already had CEDH, and Exhibition is just ultra casual, which you can also say you are. But anything from 2 to 4 really wasn't that defined, and I think this really helped already. So this is a really good thing. We had many good things. I think Ether Drift is one of my favorite sets from the last years. 2, not only because of Stock Up, which is a very good card that is really dominating Standard right now, but also because I like the lore. I like the fact that we went to 3 different planes, which felt a little bit different, and that we got to see them through a different light. Because why would you go to Amonkhet in a racing set if not for it being paired with some other worlds that really didn't have too much to do with it? For example, Amonkhet is competitive, but not really a racing set. So it really allowed us to see it in a different light, in a way that I liked. Not in the way of them just all wearing hats or something, but in a way where we got to see their competitiveness in a different light. I really liked the set. We also got 2 precons from there. We had the Sahili precon, which really didn't add too much because it was about energy, and it was about changing creatures, making copies of them, which really isn't too much new, nothing new actually. So didn't really add too much, but it was a fun deck. I think they had to go with energy a little bit because of the Kaladesh theme of Ether Drift, and then we got an Amonkhet one too with Dammit, which was more about recursion, and recursion of course also isn't new. It was also about being a zombie stack, and it did change the archetype a little bit, so there was some change there, where zombies now can fly. which is it. Then we had a competitive event, which was Pro Tour Ether Drift, also in February, so we aren't even a sixth of the way here. And here, the standard metagame looked very different. I think this year we got 4 big metagames, which is a lot, and I think we should celebrate this too. Of course we needed bans, Vivi or Niche, but we did get to see 4 different metagames with very different games. I really like this one, at least once, where we got to see the Overlords together with Up the Beanstalk being really strong, and Sir the Enchanter coming back with a vengeance, let's say. So I really like that one. Going back to Secret Lairs, we get a big fight between people who like cats and people who like dogs, which of course will always stay a fight. I don't like people being set up against each other, but I do really like the cute arts we got for both of these. Then we had, I think, what broke many people, which is a Secret Lair about SpongeBob SquarePants, which even made a joke of itself with the counterspell card, which is a very bold move. Let's keep it at that. We also had some more tunes in March, which I guess was forcing things. At least I like the art style visually. It pleases me, but it doesn't feel like Magic anymore. We can, I think, all agree to that. But we also had Tragic Romance, which was, I think, more Magic adjacent at least, and really told a story, so I guess I like that one. And then we got They Grow Up So Fast, which can be a bit of a meme, which was a set about all of the Elder Dragons from Tarkir being babies, if you want them to be. At least it is optional, so it's a little bit different in that way. Then we also got this one, which was all about putting stickers on your Magic the Gathering cards, which I think not many people did, because I don't really see these. But at least they had some strong cards, like Hedron Crab, which is situational, but also Pitiless Plunderer. Garden Buds, which is just an art Secret Lair. I think I like these almost the most, where it is just about the art and a style of cards which is a bit different, but still it is celebrating a card that is really Magic the Gathering. Or one that is about tokens, like Oishi tokens. This is just about putting food tokens in there in different ways, and these being customizable, I think, already was the case for many people. Many people have bought things from artists that are tokens that they can use to customize their decks a little bit more and be a little bit more quirky. I really like these for that reason. And then we had another controversy, sort of, which was Deadpool, the trading card, which was the first card where people got a new, unique ability that was really annoying. Which is where Deadpool trading card allows you to, when it enters exchange, his text box with that of another creature, making, for example, another commander sort of useless, because then it only got the ability to, at the beginning of your upkeep, lose 3 life, which really isn't that helpful. And then for 3 mana you could sacrifice the creature so that each other player draws a card, which is a big feel bad, of course. So Deadpool was really strong. It is a new card, and it really pushed Marvel. Yeah, it really made many people angry at Marvel and Magic the Gathering as a combination, which really wasn't a good setup for the rest of the year, let's say. Then we got a new set, Tarkir Dragonstorm. Very good again, with many cool cards, I would say, and really, again, putting a new light on a set or on a plane like Tarkir, where now we got the Dragonstorms, we got the humans and the dragons both being a little bit strong, and we got new big dragons as well. We also got Cory Steelcutter, which really pushed red into being a very strong color in the next Pro Tour. We also got some very strong cards like Voice of Victory and Elspeth Stormslayer, but most of all I really liked the story for where it was going. It did some weird stuff with Jace, which is okay, but mostly I really liked seeing all of the clans being put in a different light, and we really learned something, and we really got some personal stories, which really did a lot for me this year. I think Tarkir, yeah, very good set again, so 2 out of 2 for me for the sets at least. Then we got precon for every clan here, or clan? I think it's clan. We got one for Abzan, which was all about big toughnesses and really pushed the archetype, so I think that added at least a bit. Then we got Jeskai doing Jeskai prowess, non-creature stuff, but also Jeskai got the flurry ability, which is at least a little bit different. We got Mardu, which was again aggressive. This is what Mardu does. But this year I think we really put aggro on the map for Commander, so I think this helped with it. Didn't do everything we needed it to do, but definitely helped with the token strategies and going wide as an aggro deck. Then we had Sultai Arisen, which brought Tival, this balance skill, which is now one of the most popular commanders. We have seen it many times, so it at least added that, even though it doesn't really do anything different from other cards like it. And Temur Roar, which also didn't do anything different, which is a kind of theme that we see lately, which is not many new things that really are new. Of course, we get new names like Flurry, but that's just plays 2 things in a turn. But we do get to see cards being evolved and them getting stronger. So that is at least a thing. The Temur deck, for example, worked with big power, which definitely isn't new in a Temur deck. Then I duplicated this. We also had Adventures of the Little Witch, which is very very cute, at least in April. And we got some more Ether Drift style, very hardcore red secret lairs like this one, and everything is on fire. Then we got another Artist Spotlight, which is very toony again, so I guess if you like it, this is fine, but seeing this across the table can be jarring for some people, and I think this is creating a bit of a divide in the community at this point. I think many people didn't really even look at these, even though it might be about something fun, which might be about a radio station, which is a very cool concept, but people really weren't looking at these too much, because maybe out of fear of people hating secret lairs even. So I think that is a bit of a shame. Then we got Everyone's Invited, which of course put many people on tables for being angry. But isn't that kind of the point of being a loving person? We got Slay the Day, which is all about very cool arts, I would say, from Mr. Drake. But also, yeah, I think telling a big story about how even Magic the Gathering characters can sometimes be very slayful, let's say. Then we got Final Fantasy as a set, and the Secret Lair, of course, which really put many people into the frame of mind of getting into Magic the Gathering, and more artist series. And then we got more artist series, which were more hardcore. And then we had a bit of a weird one, which was about celebrating a certain cultural day, which is, I guess, really cool if it's your cultural day. But really pushing, I think, the agenda of Secret Lair being for some people and not for all, so that you have to scroll through them and see what you like, and if you don't like it, just put up with it. I think that is a nice story to learn anyway in life. The actual Final Fantasy set was, of course, very controversial because of Vivi Orniche, but also was very fun for many people who played Final Fantasy before. I personally didn't, but like I will have multiple times in the coming years, I think, I started playing Final Fantasy because of this set. So yeah, Universes Beyond is working on me. We got some precons here too, like Revival Trance, which was from Final Fantasy VI, which was again Mardu being very aggressive. So really pushing Mardu into being an aggro color combination for Commander. And it is starting to work. Aggro is actually something that you could do now in Commander, at least at this point in the year. So we had that. We had Limit Break, which was about big power. Note that these precons for Final Fantasy aren't meant to be, again, a thing that is new. This is big power, which is a thing Naya does, and that is okay. It should be relatively simple for new players that come into Magic the Gathering from Final Fantasy to play a deck that is fun, maybe easy, not too new because they have to get comfortable with playing Magic the Gathering at all. We also had Counter Blitz, which was about putting counters on creatures, also isn't new, and we had Spellslinger deck, which was more about big spells, or at least slightly so. So that's a bit different from normal Spellslinger decks, but still not too new. It was just there to put the characters into the game in a way that felt flavorful. We then went on with Pro Tour Final Fantasy, where again we got a new metagame, which was more focused on, I think Vivi Orniche was already starting. There were many decks like it, but we also had Mono Red being really big with Heartfire Hero as its hero, and then Emberheart Challenger and Thursa Light Shatter from Tarkir. So we had many cards that work very well with being aggressive, and this is a curve if I have ever seen one on a slide. We also had, like I said, Vivi Orniche coming up, and it was paired with Corey Steelcutter, which really made it strong already, but it didn't actually win the Pro Tour. I think, has it ever done that? I'm not really sure. But then we went on with weird Secret Lairs. We had a very big one for Sonic, which is, I guess, okay. It did bring a bunch of new cards, which is sort of fun, but we had to, throughout this year, get to learn many different cards at many different times. And personally, I haven't really even looked at it, even though later I learned that Shadow the Hedgehog might be a really fun commander to play, for example. I wouldn't do it because I wasn't there for the hype of it getting released, which is kind of how I always work with Magic. If there's a new set and I like a card, I might be tempted into playing it, like I did with Obika last year. But I didn't get to be there for the hype, so I probably will never play any of these cards as a commander, at least. We then got another Secret Lair, which was Alien Auroras, which is all about cool arts. I think this is the way I want Secret Lairs to be. Like it pushes a very important card like a Crucible of Worlds or Sylvan Safekeeper, and does it in a cool way that adds a new art. That is, I think, this is perfect to me. We had featuring Death Burger, which was about featuring an artist again, of course. I think that is fine. Even though it might not look like a Magic card, I think at least it shows us art and allows us to appreciate that. Next set was Edge of Eternities, August 1, another slam dunk, let's say. It added new Sacred Foundries, so many of those dual lands, and some other strong cards, but mostly it was again a very cool story that was very interesting to follow, where we got to get into space. Personally, before Edge of Eternities, I was against space-themed sets because they were a little bit too modern for me. But as I really like the story of Edge of Eternities, I sort of at least warmed up to the idea of Magic the Gathering being a futuristic type of game. Instead of just fantasy, it is now more mixed with modern day life or futuristic life, which I think can be fine because we are still learning about new worlds, and we are learning about new factions, and we are putting it into a base of Magic the Gathering, its colors, its creatures, and the way it usually works. We had some precons, two here. One is counterintelligence and the other one was about nature. Counterintelligence was, let's guess, about counters. It added a very good combo with Kilo Apogee Mind, and there will probably be more to come because you can proliferate Kilo every time it becomes tapped, and then you can untap it in many different ways, and I think this will be broken very often. And then we had World Shaper, which was the other precon, which was all about lands entering the battlefield, which is again not something new for Junt. I think, did we even get a new type of precon? I don't think so. They all did something that already was done before, but they do it in a slightly different way and add a new art on top of it. They add to the archetype instead of making a new one. That is okay. We have some more news from here. Now vehicles can also be your commander. This was done because, of course, spacecrafts had to be able to become your commander for this set, or they wanted it to be. So now any vehicle can become your commander. Secret Lairs, back to them. We got Festival in a box, which was sort of, I think, a fun way to celebrate festivals for Magic the Gathering, which are definitely something that is fun. If you have started playing some more games and a festival is coming to a town near you, I definitely would say try to go to one, because it can definitely deepen your love for the game and the people. We then got Spider-Man, of course. Spider-Man was very controversial for the set not being liked due to its quality, but I think the Secret Lair was very fun because the art was very metal, very good, and I think, yeah, I kind of like these, even though the Daily Bugle ones are sort of hard to read again, because there's a lot of text that seems like it should be the title of the card. We got a cool land Secret Lair, which is also, of course, always fine because it is all about personalizing your lands. I would warn people not to play lands that don't feel like, for example, a mountain. If this one seems a bit pink to you as well, it does to me. Maybe it doesn't feel like a mountain to other people, and that can be hard for them to see what lands you are using and tapping, so people might be against that. But the forest is really cool, for example, and the plains definitely is very yellow. So just think about it. Be mindful of other people, and definitely if you know you have some colorblind people in your playgroup, for example. But the set Spider-Man definitely wasn't loved. So we had some very good sets in this year, and we shouldn't forget that, because Spider-Man was so bad. I hope they will step up their game for Marvel, because we probably have way more to come. We had the Soul Stone being released here as a very very strong mythic. It has a new ability, which is the harness ability, which definitely isn't really new, but it looks new. It allows you to pay a certain cost to upgrade the card, which of course has been done many times with talents or stuff like that. So really isn't new, but I think they want to use this mechanic for all of the other stones as well. So we know that we will be getting 4 more Marvel sets. We know we at least have 1 next year, so I hope they will step up their game and make it a bit of a more fun set. At least they have had some more time to do it. That's all I will say. Then we had another Pro Tour, which wasn't even named after Spider-Man. It was named after Edge of Eternities, because people were so fed up with Spider-Man at this point. In this Pro Tour we didn't have standard, we had a different kind of thing, which is modern, where this deck was eventually the winner, which is a really cool one, I would say, because because of Charbelcher, it tries not to play any lands, or at least not too many, so that it can instantly win once the Charbelcher goes off. So it makes mana in different ways with cards like Lotus Bloom, which isn't a land. And then, for example, with Tameshi, which is also a namesake of the deck, you can return a certain card to your hand, which should be a land. So might feel weird there, but you have some modal cards that you can return to your hand because of that. And then you can also return an artifact or enchantment to the graveyard, to the battlefield from the graveyard, like the Charbelcher, but also like Lotus Bloom, for example. Back to more secret lairs. We had Plato, yep, and then on to news for October. We had an updated bracket system, or at least an update to the bracket system, which really didn't feel like a big update, at least. I still like it, but it doesn't feel like it is doing a lot more. It just says that you have to count the amount of turns you usually play with your deck in your playgroup so that you can know what you are in. So if your games take 7 turns, you are an upgraded deck. That is what we added. Yeah. Alright, more secret lairs. We have Trick or Treat for Halloween, of course, in October. We had another one for Kieran Jenner, which is a great artist spotlight because it is just awesome. I think if we can do more artist series focused on artists that are big to Magic the Gathering, I would be very happy, personally. If we do more things like these, I wouldn't be very happy, personally. Where Furby, especially since this added something new. And the new thing is, look at Tamiyo's safekeeping. It is adding Furbies to Magic the Gathering characters on a card. That weakens Magic the Gathering, in my mind. But okay, we had Iron Maiden, which is at least something many Magic the Gathering fans love. So okay, let's go there. But we also had Dwight's Destiny. Again, it made me do something for the first time, which is watch The Office. Yeah, sue me. But really doesn't feel like a Magic card if we see Dwight with a shuriken. That just doesn't feel like it. But okay, we had a Dan Chaos Vault, which is, I think, very deserved of a thing that was made by the community. If we can make more secret lairs that are focused on things that are from Magic, like artists, or from the community, like Dan, yes, very good. I will applaud you if you actually release them. We had Ghost of Tsushima, okay. Going through these because really, what should I say about God of War, Norse, or Greek secret lairs? If you like these, go ahead. We also had The Last of Us, we had Uncharted, and then onto some news. Very welcome, we got a ban in Standard for VV Ornithage. This was needed. They also banned Screaming Nemesis and Proft's Eidetic Memory, which seemed to be a very smart choice, at least in hindsight, because still Izzet is the strongest color in Standard right now. Or, well, either you are playing Izzet or you are playing Izzet with another color. So yeah, Izzet is still the strongest. And then we had a very fun kicker. We had, well, yeah, Avatar, I guess. But we also had the Monster Lair, Secret Lair, which really didn't go too well. But more on that later, I guess. We had the set of Avatar, which definitely brought us a lot of new things. We had a bunch of card draw, which is already becoming more controversial, as it is called a new Ancestral Recall, the Grand card. We have more aggro. Firelord Azula definitely pushes the agenda of aggro becoming a thing in Commander. And for example, Badger Mole Cup. But also, I think Avatar really fits Magic the Gathering, because it is a magical world at least. We had some more Secret Lairs. I definitely didn't do these arts correctly. But the Monster Hunter one, which you can now go to, definitely was controversial because there were many mistakes on the cards. The cards didn't feel like they were the right cards for the characters. Like, for example, if you have a very important character, let's say Rathalos, I don't even know how you say it because I don't play it, the King of the Skies, and he just is a fire breather dragon. Is that all he does? And that was why people were angry, so they didn't release it. It also had some mistakes. More news, they went from they shifted print to demand to limited runs. And I think people are very angry about this. Then last but not least, we had the World Championship for Magic the Gathering. Not correct. This is not 31. We still have that coming up, but we had another tournament. Was it another Pro Tour? That. Anyways, we had a very big tournament a few days ago. It was very controversial though, because Gran got to be a very strong card. This uncommon old lady turns your accumulate wisdoms into a 1 mana draw 3 sometimes. So it is just way too good, and it allows Izzet decks to just be a churning deck. But you see, why would you become angry at this? At least if you are someone who likes to watch Pro Tours and tournaments, why would you be angry? Because this is a very fun deck, at least to watch. It is a deck that allows players to see very many cards throughout a turn. So it allows for many strategic options. So we should really like the fact that this is becoming a big thing. The only thing is that it would be fun to have a tournament where many different decks are strong. So we have a little bit of a diversity of deck matchups. Well, if you like seeing multiple matchups, I would say stop watching Standard for the coming time. Try watching Modern or something like that, where even more cards are added to the format and even more decks exist. So there's a choice, more of a choice at least than we have in Standard right now. At least there's one choice: play Izzet or play Izzet with green. Green is of course strong because of cards like Badger Mole Cup, and Izzet really pushes any deck right now because of Stock Up and Storm Chaser's talent. Any Izzet deck can be very strong right now. So that is the state that we are left in right now. I can't even remember what day it is apparently, but I would like to thank you for watching, and I wish you a very nice day and a very nice coming 2026 with way more love for Magic put into the game. At least I will try to do so. So thank you for joining me on this journey this year, and have a nice year.